What's up, everybody? It's Hollywood from Ruthless Racing. I got B New Stu helping me out. This is going to be a next-gen car setup, custom setup video. I'm going to show you how to get custom setups onto these next-gen cars in the online multiplayer. At this time, there's no way to get custom setups into career mode, but you can use custom setups on these next-gen cars racing online with your friends or in leagues. So right now we're in the 2022 next gen test session mode. Obviously you can see that there's only slider adjustments in this test session. So you cannot test custom setups on your 2022 cars directly from test session. The only way to test your custom setups is online, in online multiplayer. So right now we're going to load into a 2022 next-gen Bristol lobby. B New Stu's helping me out. He's creating a lobby for me to jump into. I'm going to show you a pit stop and show you the tire pressures that I have in my custom setup for the 2022 car. And then we're going to go check out where you can make adjustments to that setup. So when you join online lobbies, it's always going to put you on the sliders, because in test session mode you can only choose a slider. So when you're in the online lobbies, every single time you join one, you have to make sure you switch over to custom race or custom qualify, whichever setup you're using. For me, it'll be custom race. But if you do not switch over, you're obviously not going to be on your custom setup. So with the old cars, the 2020 cars, the last setup that you worked on in test session, it would save, and then when you load it into an online lobby, you would be on that setup that you last adjusted on. With the next gen cars, again, there's only sliders in test session, so when you load in, it will always be on the recommended slider setups. So we're going to load into this Bristol real quick.
I wouldn't say real quick.
Yeah, these loading screens take a little bit of time. Let us know how you've been either enjoying or disliking the next gen DLC update on NASCAR Heat 5. I've had a lot of mixed reviews. Personally, I'm having a good time with it. I got some bugs worked out that I had when I first downloaded the game. I've got them worked out, and the game's been running fine since then. But it did take a day or two to figure out exactly how to use everything on this new update. So right away, if I was on a slider, I would have to use 5th gear here. So I have my custom gears in, and I'm able to run 3rd gear around Bristol here. So we're going to go ahead and pit. I want you guys to pay attention to the tire pressures that I have in this car and the wedge, so because you'll be able to see this when we go to the custom setup. So I got a 53.5, 14 on the lefts, and 37.75 on the rights. Alright, so when we go to test session, you're going to be able to see these pressures. I didn't take any tires there, so I was going to show you guys a little clip of them pitting, but we can upload one a different time. So we're going to back out. Another loading screen. So to use a custom setup on the next gen car, you are going to have to go back out of the 2022 part of the game and load into the 2020 part. Now we're going to load into test session for the old 2020 cars. going back to Bristol, same track we were just at. This is the day race, but that doesn't matter. Before we get into this, if there's any custom setups y'all would like to see for the next gens, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know, exactly what tracks you guys would like to see. I'll be putting some out. Probably not going to put out any 2020 setups anymore, just because I don't plan on running those cars anymore now that the next gen DLC has dropped. But yeah, if there's any custom setups with the 2022 cars, let me know. So, as you can see, these tire pressures and this wedge, the tape, everything is the same that it was on pit road in the next gen car. So these 2020 setups transfer into the new next gen cars. Unfortunately, you will have to test them, use test session mode in 2020 to work on these cars. You cannot directly see how a setup change would affect your 2022 car without going online and actually racing against other people. It adds an extra step to adjusting on your cars, but at least there's a way to do it. So Motorsports Games, they left that part out with the next gen cars in test session. Personally, there's a lot of different changes that were made between this car and the next gen car, and they didn't want to go too deep into the setups of the next gens. Most notably, there's a fifth gear that they would have to add, and they would have to add code for to be able to change it and use it. So the adjustability for the gearing in the next gen cars is going to be hard, because you cannot adjust fourth and you can't even see fifth. So those people that run custom setups, it's going to be hard to set up the car to use fifth gear. It's going to take a lot of work to figure out what that fifth gear is and how to make it usable in a race lobby. Also there should be different adjustments with the sway bar. The next gen cars, they have a rear sway bar with the independent rear suspension. Obviously you can't adjust on it with these old cars because they didn't have one at the 1.5 miles. So it's small things like that. At least there's a way to do it. Personally, I've been finding that if you take your 2020 car and you take a front sway bar out, raise the tire pressures, lower the wedge, a few small changes to make it a little bit looser, and your setup will work just fine. They do transfer over pretty well. Next gen cars they have more downforce. They're a little bit slower, but a lot more stable, and it makes the racing really fun. So with all that being said, that's how you get your custom setups into your new next gen cars. If you guys have any questions on anything, go ahead and leave a comment. If you want to support the page, the best way to do that is to subscribe and like our videos, and we'll catch you guys later. Y'all have a good one.